We're live from Harry Hines.
Alrighty, guys, we are live from Harry Hines. Tonight we have none other than Mr. P.Rata himself, tattoo artist from Dallas, with us, and he is actually going to be tattooing our main boss man here at Xovernight, aka live from Harry Hines' main producer, Mr. Raseto, is getting tatted, and we're going to have a little clip so you guys can see what he's getting tatted.
What kind of ink do you use?
I use dynamic. Yeah, so it's like kind of like the industry standards. Like if you go to a convention or if you're like going into a shop, chances are
They're using
like
dynamic.
probably like maybe 6 out of 10 the dudes are gonna be using this ink. And this white here, I picked it up on the convention circuit, kind of like hearing recommendations from other dudes. But this one, it's a little more expensive than like your standard white. But this shit fucking heals like how the first day you put it in. You put it in and it stays white as fuck. Like, also it's the method in which I put it in too. But
Right.
using the same method with other whites, it would always kind of like fade a little bit or heal a little bit choppy. But this one just stays fucking in there, man. Yeah.
Okay, I know you told me también que you did actually go to art school, right?
Yeah. I was going to. I started off going to Mountain View, like taking like basic drawing and like basic painting,
Art, yeah.
and then went to UNT and studied there for 2 years, but then kind of got how do you say, disenamored with like the art scene. It was like very. I realized it was very pretentious. You know, there was a lot of like ego and like who you know and like, which is kind of like in anything really, but. It just kind of made me like, all right, maybe this ain't for me, you know? And so,
off,
yeah,
like,
so I dropped out of art school, just started fucking working a job and still making art and doing art shows.
Yeah.
But I stopped pursuing it in that way, like the professional way.
Like
or
a canvas
The
and
classically
like all of
trained,
that,
I kind of had my start in graffiti, I guess you could say like where I started taking my art seriously was in graffiti, because then it becomes like, that was very much an ego thing, you know, like how much you can spread your name and how much you want people to know
The graffiti?
you. Yeah.
How many have you done?
Oh, there's no count. There's like thousands. But that was also because I'm an adrenaline junkie. Like, I just like shit that's dangerous by default. But if it's dangerous, I'm probably gonna try it.
What are some of the craziest dangerous things you've tried?
Well, there was one time, I guess you could say, I wasn't intentionally doing things dangerously, but my family's comes from veterans, and so I went on a Wounded Warrior Project surf trip, and we were in South Carolina, and there was some whales. It was like their mating season, so you could see them in the distance, right? And so we're surfing, and you could see them like jumping. These fucking giant beasts jumping in the water, and their mating call is so loud, it's deafening. It's like I don't even know how to describe it, man, but it's just this loud like siren type sound, and yeah, we just started like chasing them. Not chasing them, but like trying to get out to them to get had a GoPro, and so we're trying to get footage of them like closer up. And we just paddled out as far as we could. Ended up being about 3 miles from shore that we paddled out, just trying to get close to them. Mm-hmm. And on the route to there, we saw what appeared to be dolphins kind of like swimming around us, and we thought it was cool. And you know, we just kept paddling out with these dolphins like swimming around us. And when we get back to shore, these guys are yelling at us and shit, because it turns out they were actually sharks that were circling around us. Yeah. And we're just like paddling, like, "What's up, shark?" Like thinking it's a dolphin.
Y'all couldn't even tell the difference.
Well, because like we're just like paddling out, and then you see these like fins going around us, sort of like cool. The fucking dolphins are like trying to see the whales too, you know, like. But it was sharks. So. It just shows that like sometimes they're like, you know, sharks have a bad rep, just like pit bulls. Like it depends on the situation. But then also the seas are getting overfished, so the fact that the sharks are hungrier is also true. So now that's why you see shark attack rates going up, because they're just fucking hungry because we're taking all their food.
Seafood does though. So you surfboard and you skateboard?
Yeah, I started skating first. I've been skating about 21 years. But surfing was just something that kind of happened just because like it's the history of skateboarding comes from surfing. Like skateboarding came from surfing essentially. So whenever the waves were flat, they would try to surf on these boards on the concrete, you know.
Yeah.
And so, oh my bad.
I've seen where they like surf on like the sand, like right where like the wave falls.
Yeah, and so now I don't skate like I used to. Like I used to jump, downstairs, do handrails, but nowadays since the body's a little more, it's older now. You know?
Seasoned.
It's seasoned. Yeah, we could say that seasoned. Yeah. It's gained some scars and scar tissue. And so I just kind of like really just surf now. Like I'll go to the parks and just surf the fuck out of them. So I don't break anything. Because over quarantine, I fucking broke this like wrist and like a bone in my hand.
Skateboarding?
Yeah. I still kept tattooing though. Alright, so Lucy, stand up real quick so I get a level, hold it in a relaxed position. Yeah, like that. So hold it on like this. Alright, like flat like that. Yeah, bet. Now drop it. Bet. Oh yeah. So I usually frame where it's gonna go. And you want it about right there, right? That's what you were thinking? Like in that space, or you want it higher or lower?
Probably just a smidge low.
Like this way?
I just wanted to make sure that night was like somewhere where it was, the widest.
Well, the way it's gonna be, I mean, the way I was setting it up is like basically like.
But that's pretty much it,
like
though.
Hold your arm down, so it would be like so. You know what I mean? So basically, when you hold it up, you see it like this. You know what I mean? So that way it's level to the ground. So that's what's considered like the correct positioning. So some people, I'll be real, there's like a little joke in the tattoo community, and we hashtag it just for me. Because some people want it like, it's like, so I can see it. You know, they want to see it, but it's technically upside down. You know what I mean? So, like, I'll do it if you want it like that, but I'm going to hashtag that bitch.
Yeah, because when you put your arm down.
So the other way around.
If you do it like this, that's technically upside down. So think of it like the logo on your shirt.
Right.
If it's like a Nike logo, if it's upside down so you can see it, you got that shit at a bodega or something. You know what I mean? Like
right. So when you just chilling, it's upside down.
They're gonna be able to see the
I got you.
Xovernight.
All right, I'll leave it in your hands.
Yeah. So like, see, drop it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right there, like that's like perfect, like in the back right there. But if you want it, like a little higher, I could go a little higher so that maybe you have less of a gap. You know what I mean? So like right there, you have less of a gap from your elbow and shit, and then you have a little bit of a space right here for like another piece. Or if you want it, we could still just drop it in here, and then you can maybe do a piece like that wraps around your elbow or something.
Yo.
You know.
Where do you see it best right now?
To be honest, like looking at the space we have here, like I would say utilizing the space best will be right here, man. We drop it right here, so it's like a little bit higher. It fills in this space right here, which is essentially like the top part, like this part. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it gives you space for another piece right here. Like so, we're using the real estate appropriately. You know?
Got you. Yeah, that's
got you. So like
I like it. Saving skin for your next project.
Trying to get you laced up right, man. And I'm sorry. Look, if you look at this, the cream, it looks kind of funny, right? Like, I always tell people, I'm sorry for how it looks. It looks a little bit like cum, but it's not.
You should be like, I'm sorry, I gotta put this on you.
That's weird. Like, why you putting that shit on? Some dudes get offended when I tell them that joke. I'm like, man, you gay, that nigga, you get offended. Like, homophobic.
Hey, for real.
It's just a fucking joke, man.
So you,
Yup.
like you need to focus there. Maybe it's me. I'm trying to focus.
How many tattoos you say you got right now?
On me?
Yeah.
Shit. My kids counted them the other day. It's like 54, but since then I've gotten like 4 more. So I get tattooed probably weekly, man.
Oh shit.
I can't go very long without getting tattooed.
Really?
Oh yeah. That's fucking fire. So I let it, so it hits right. It fucking lines up right with the other one. So you got like minimal,
it does
space.
look good. And then the rows, when he fills in the rows,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'll take a picture. Hold your arm, relax, and I'll take a picture. You can see. see what you
I'm
want
looking at
here.
one courtesy of Xovernight right here. Looking up Xovernight. X slash.
Oh, yeah. And you wanted solid black, right?
Yeah, solid black. Yeah, solid black with that outline that you said, little white. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. I'll throw that white highlights in there. It's gonna be sick, man.
Yeah, cause I usually like colors, but for this purpose, yeah, straight black.
It's gonna stand out, and then once I throw that fucking highlight, forget about it.
Forget about it. So tell me what this 35 means right here on your.
Oh yeah, that's the symbol. It's actually Sanskrit. So if you were to ask someone who's Hindu, they would say it's like similar to like what a Catholic or a Christian would use a cross to represent, is like the symbol of their faith. But it also is the symbol for your third eye chakra. And so I am a.
Is that this one?
Yeah,
Chakra?
your third eye chakra. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have your pineal gland here in your forehead, which also secretes DMT naturally. So we have DMT naturally secreting into our body, and there's a lot of different theories as to why that is, but it's also like, have you heard of ayahuasca? It's a vine in the Amazon that's made into a tea. Well, the vine itself has DMT. And so you can't just drink the tea from the vine itself, because...
What is DMT?
DMT, dimethyltryptamine. So it's like for instance, like LSD, lysergic acid.
So we naturally have that in our body.
Yeah, so our body... So you can't drink the tea of just the vine because of the fact that like your body's going to dilute it. It's going to just be like broken down because we already contain it. So these indigenous tribes somehow figured out that there's another leaf called the chacruna leaf, which is found like... doesn't grow near the ayahuasca vine at all, that contains DMT5. And so what that does is that it's a monoaminoid that cancels out. So it basically allows the DMT to take effect in your body and sends you on a journey.
Your third eye.
So basically you travel the universe for about 8 to 10 hours. Like,
have you done it?
Yeah, I've done 3 ceremonies.
You want to do it together too?
You
down to take me to the next ceremony? Because I was like, hey, that 35 looks really dope. What does it mean? That would be a cool little like...
I have it here also. It was one of the first tattoos I did on myself.
That's what's up.
But...
oh, you tattoo yourself?
Yeah.
You did tell me you have tattoos.
Yeah, like I tattooed myself over 30 times. A lot of tattoos, like I've redone them like a few times. So, like this one, I've redone it probably like 5 times just to get the lines right. It's just, when I was like first doing my apprenticeship, that's how I was learning like
you
on
were
myself.
learning on yourself.
Yeah, just
Just be careful with the tripod.
So,
yeah, put it on.
When
there
did you start playing? Like, when did that transition from art on a canvas, I guess you would say the classical way, turn into, you know what, I want a tattoo. Like, I want to do this on people's body.
Well, I had a mentor, dude I don't really fuck with anymore for a couple of reasons, but he saw me like hustling, you know, and he was like, well, let me put you down, you know, like I could teach you how to tattoo, you know, and you could, you know, you can make bread doing that. Yeah. And so we did that, and I did an apprenticeship for a year under him, and after that, just been going at it for about 2.5 years on my own, just fucking pushing, hustling hard.
Yeah.
I had a full-time job up until about a year and a half ago, about a year ago.
Tattooing.
So
full-time.
Just been full-time for about a year and a half. Yeah. It's you know, it takes everything. You know, there's no days off. There's no like. You could take a vacation, but I'm a tattoo while I'm on vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a lifestyle.
Are you able to take your needles and travel with your kit?
Yeah, I take everywhere I go. I take my tattoo equipment. Like it's like now it's a part of like it's an appendage. It's another thing. You know, so wherever I go, I'm taking my tattoo equipment because somebody's gonna want a tattoo. And like I said, I don't ever stop thinking about tattooing. Always tattooing, thinking about tattooing, working on a tattoo design. Watching tattoo documentaries. It's just, it doesn't stop.
Tell me about your dreads. How long you had them dreads? Your hair?
Yeah, the dreads, I've been working on them for about a year and a half. Like, I've been just doing it myself. They started out like Rasta style, you know, like free form, like just not combing it. Because I have been growing my hair for about 3.5 years when I started the dreads.
3.5 years.
Yeah, so I've been growing them about 5, almost 6 years, my hair. But dreading about a year and a half, 2 years. It's a lot of fucking work.
How
Like,
long is your hair, do you think?
it's down to my ass. Yeah. So
Like Lil Wayne said.
yeah, so yeah, like let's just say I gotta tie it up if I'm gonna go to the restroom. You know what I mean?
I was like, wow, that's what's up.
But it's a whole nother situation with the dreads, like, 'cause it's a lot of work. It's not just like something that you get just 'cause you want to fucking look cool. Like, if you're getting them, like, you can't just get them. You gotta be dedicated to them. You know, and so I'm trying to grow them until the universe decides that I don't deserve hair anymore. So
This is gonna get longer.
yeah, we'll see.
What does that say above your eyebrow?
It's just sagrado. So this line of work, tattooing, was always done by the shaman, or like the sacred people. It was always done by those who were like the elders. And so it's always been a sacred tradition, and it's always been a spoken tradition. It's one of the oldest spoken traditions still continued, man, if you think about it. Like, there's not many spoken traditions that are still continued. A lot of them get lost with time. And so, to be honest, it feels beautiful to be a part of this sacred tradition, man, because I don't take it lightly. Like, I don't just fucking do tattoos just to make bread. Like, to me, this is like, I wake up, and the first thing I'm thinking about is tattooing. I go to sleep, and I'm like thinking about a tattoo I did, or I'm gonna do, or I want to do.
Bro, how you could have done it better.
Yeah, everything, man. Any angle. So, and also too, we are sacred, man, and we forget that. A lot of times we get caught up in life, what society tells us we need to be like, what we should look like, what we should think like, act like, be like, and we lose sight of ourselves, man. We lose sight of like the fact that we are sacred, man. Like we're fucking basically walking miracles, you know. And we forget that shit. And so I put that right there so I can see it every time I look in the mirror. I fucking remember, man, that we come from warriors, bro. We're sacred, and we should carry ourselves like that. Not just so lackadaisical, so fucking easy. Just like shit doesn't matter, you know. Life is with meaning.
It's too easy to get brainwashed by everything that's going on, to get distracted, to get sidetracked.
Oh yeah, dog.
Lose sight of yourself. Yeah, I see that.
Get caught up in society's game. This whole like quote unquote American dream is really just emptiness. You know, like you follow that shit. Like you're gonna get your fucking money and you're gonna reach that point, but then you're gonna realize that you were chasing somebody else's dream. You don't even know what the fuck your own dream is.
Right. How'd you get that name, P.Rata?
Well, the part of Puerto Rico where my dad's family, well, like my dad's from, is called Quebradillas, which is known as the pirates' capital of the Caribbean. So, if you were to look at it, it's like one of the places that has like historically the highest traffic of piracy in the Caribbean. And so, whenever I go back, like you can explore old tunnels and caves and little hideouts that they had, and it's just fucking dope being in the energy, man. Like you're in this old like casita that they made to go and stash their shit while they were out at sea, you know, like. And so even the basketball team there in Quebradillas is known as the Piratas. And so before I was even tattooing, I was really doing like a lot of art, but I was also doing like, I was really into like gardening, like growing shit, like growing my own food, like sustainability, like being able to live without needing society, you know what I mean? Like being self-sufficient, self-sustaining. And so my Instagram used to be P.Rata_Earth. And because that was my mission, I was like working on earth projects and shit. And once I started tattooing, I was like, damn, I gotta come up with like a fucking name or something, right? And then I was like, no shit, like I'm on my next mission now, which is tattooing. So P.Rata_tattoo.
What type of earth project?
Well, I love the fact that not love, but the fact that we're a wasteful society and we throw away a lot of good shit like glass and plastic and all kinds of goods that are still reusable. I would like to get stuff that was basically dumpster diving, you know what I mean? To get stuff that's still of like good enough value and giving it another life. So basically repurposing. So a lot of like gardening with repurposed like bottles and fucking pieces of fence and shit like that, and like using that waste, taking from the fucking waste that we're making and repurposing it so there's less waste around, man, for our kids to have to fucking clean up.
Yeah, for sure. That's what's up. That's what it's up.
But now, like with tattooing, it's I'm not gonna
What's
lie.
your mission?
Yeah, it's the next mission. We'll see what happens.
Tell me a little bit about the Texas Theater shows that you were telling me about.
Oh
earlier.
those were dope because it was really just like the homies, and it was before the Texas Theater was really even doing art shows. We would do these pop-up shows. One of them was in this room called the Mysterious Safe Room, and it was a room upstairs that has a safe that nobody really. Well, I mean, they knew why it was there, but it just stayed there, and they called it the Mysterious Safe. And so the room ended up becoming called the Mysterious Safe Room, and it had this trippy ass floor with like these stripes, zigzag, fucking stripes, and so it's a pretty dope spot. So we threw an art show up there.
And that's in Dallas, right?
Yeah, it's in Oak Cliff on Jefferson, and it's where Lee Harvey Oswald was caught, supposedly after shooting Kennedy.
No shit.
Allegedly, supposedly.
So how many shows have you gotten to do or to host there?
There, I think we did. It was 2, if not 3, shows that we did there. One was behind the actual like theater screen, like the movie screen. Each time we would hold the shows, though, we would have a band, at least 1 to 2 bands. There were local bands, like other bands that were also artists, and so I believe in the community vibe, man. Like if like we were talking about earlier, artistry is something that isn't governed by like this overseeing body. So it's really up to us to keep that shit going, to keep it flowing, to keep feeding it, to keep preserving it, to spread other people's vibe, to spread other people's name. Because if we don't, nobody's gonna do that shit.
To unite with one another.
Yeah.
And bring together the community and kind of showcase
What we have, man.
everything that we have to offer.
Because we come from very rich cultures, but a lot of times we are led astray by society, by colonialism, by religion, by materialism.
But hey, that time that I was there, I remember you tatted old boy's forehead. Do you remember that?
I tattooed heathen across his forehead. That was fucking gnarly. That's crazy. Yeah. And then I finished tattooing the rest of his dome. I did a Thor's hammer like on the top of it.
Really?
Yeah.
On his actual head?
Like on the neck. It was like a couple days. The day I got my neck blasted by the other dude from San Antonio. Like I was tattooing that homie till 4:30 in the morning, and then jumped over 2 booths and got my neck blasted. Yes, we finished at like 6:30 in the morning.
Is that one of the most painful tattoos you've gotten on your neck?
Nah. The most painful one I say for sure is my ribs.
Your ribs?
Yeah, I got this giant fucking eagle blasted on my ribs, and I swear I saw my soul leave my body a couple times. But and then the next day I fell asleep on like my stomach, so when I got up the covers were stuck to my fucking stomach, so I had to just peel that shit off and reopen it all again. So a lot of the lines were fucked up because of that. Moral of the story, don't sleep on your fucking stomach, kids. If you just got a stomach tattoo.
Dang.
Is tattoo addiction a real thing?
It's a real motherfucking thing, man. Like I think I'm walking evidence of that. Like I get tattooed at least once a week, maybe twice a week. If it's a good week, like 5 times a week. But it has to be at least once a week, man. Even if it's a small banger or fucking touch up, I need to feel alive. And not saying you can't feel alive without feeling that, but motherfucker, it makes you feel alive when you get that shit hit. When you feel the needle hit, if it's in a spot like that you know it's gonna be a little tricky. Nah, it's a battle with the self. Yeah, you're going into like
can I take it?
Seeing what you can handle, like seeing what you're made of, essentially.
So you tattooed one forehead. How many foreheads have you tattooed in total?
Damn, at least 15.
At least 15.
Yeah.
God damn, for real.
Yeah, man.
How many foreheads?
I fucking come from tattooing in Oak Cliff, dog. Everybody wants their face and their head tatted. They're like warrior markings. It makes you look tough and shit, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Fuck
that's
it.
when you started tatted
It's history.
Oak Cliff. That's what's up.
That's part of history.
Yeah, it is. It's straight up history, man. It comes from the Aztecs, you know, like it comes from all of the indigenous, like, and it's like warrior markings that we don't see them as warrior markings, but straight up it is, man, because like you're trying to make yourself look intimidating to the other warrior, you know, so that they don't. It's kind of like animalistic tribal tactics, man. You know, whether we realize it or not. Like, and we don't see how closely we are related to our indigenous roots by our behaviors and our tendencies, man.
Right.
And that's one thing that keeps me focused on indigenous, like, tattooing and art history, man, because that was stolen from us, you know, like all of that rich history was stolen from us, and we were basically, like, now we're taught, like if you hear people say, like, el indio, it's like an insult, you know what I mean? Like, that fucking makes me mad, dog. Like, that should be an honor, bro. Like, that they're still holding on to our ancestral fucking roots, like what the ancestors used to do. Sure, there's some things like human sacrifice I might disagree with a little bit, you know what I mean?
Just a little bit.
Just a pinch, you know, maybe in most situations. But yeah, man.
Is that why you chose traditional tattooing?
It's a big factor. Like, I did an apprenticeship, and the dude who I apprenticed under, he did traditional tattooing and lettering. So, because we both came from, like, a graffiti background, and so, like, traditional tattooing, that's where that comes from. But I do a lot of cultural and, like, indigenous tattoos because, yeah, definitely just to remind myself and my clients where we come from, you know. I have a couple of clients that get nothing but indigenous tattoos, and I fucking love that. Like, they come to me to design them, and I'll spend weeks researching, like, little bits and pieces, like, every corner, man, just to know, like, to make sure that we're bringing honor to our tradition, you know.
Right. What countries? I know you said you're from Puerto Rico. What kind of ideas do you get for tattooing from Puerto Rico or from other countries as well?
Well, I used to study Islam a lot too, and so a lot of the geometric influence comes from that. There was a time in the Arab world where imagery was deemed illegal because of idolatry, so painting faces and painting people was made illegal, like in a lot of countries that were Muslim countries, because they didn't want the people to revert to idolatry, you know, to worshiping these images. And so there's a period where there's nothing but geometric art. And so, like, a lot of the mosques and different masjids all over the world are covered in these beautiful geometric patterns. Right. And that's all because of that, the influence from that, like that era of not being able to paint anything. So they just got super intricate and complex with these geometric patterns that they just fucking blow my mind every time I see them. Like, I get, like, a little emotional scene, because it's like, that's fucking crazy artistry, man. Like, it's not just like printing something, it's like years of work, you know. And that's something that I can't even shit on at all, you know. Like, I can't shit on that at all.
So you continuously keep studying, like, different artworks and different.
I feel like you have to, like, as like, just not just as an artist, but like as a human, you know. Like, we gotta learn more about the cultures that are around us, because if we don't, we're selling ourselves short. We're not living this life to the fullest. Like, why wouldn't you want to know about how they do things in, like, the fucking Horn of Africa, or like maybe in certain, like, Arab countries? Like, it's kind of fun to learn about like other cultures and other countries, and like, a lot of times you become, well, I fall in love with cultures where I'll just study a culture for, like, months just because of how fucking beautiful it is. Like, it just pulls this piece of me that I'm like, man, I can't help but fucking just fall in love with, like, all of your traditions.
What's an art form or culture that you're studying right now?
Right now, definitely more like Central and Southern American, like, indigenous cultures. So, like, the Olmec, the Aztec, the Inca, the Maya. So I love to research those because a lot of the art, like, was done on temple walls, you know, and it's a lot of interesting images that honestly translate very well to tattooing. So that's kind of where my obsession is right now, is like pre-colonial fucking indigenous cultures, you know, before colonialismo hit.
Yeah, that's a very interesting time. Yeah.
When it was beautiful and pure, man, before, like, and there's not much history on that, you know, like, it's just, a lot of it is honestly Spanish accounts, so we get, like, just a snippet of it, man. Like, that's what it is.
I might have to have you come over here more often.
Oh yeah, bro. Let me know. Like I said, I love designing fucking pieces. Like, a lot of the times when we go to conventions, it's just like we'll start sleeves or start big pieces with future clients. And so, like, the last time I went to there was one in Grapevine, and it was a Ink Masters Grapevine convention, and that one, two of the people that I tattooed there, like I've already done like 2 or 3 tattoos on them, you know. So it's badass, man, you know, because these conventions, the way it works is they pay $20-$25 to get in, and then they can like see these artists that they don't normally see, like because we just travel around a lot, and so you're seeing artists from all over the world, all over the country, that aren't normally in that place, and so it's a very exclusive thing to where you can get tattooed by this person you're probably never going to see again in your life unless you travel to them, and so really it's pretty good bank, to be honest, you know. But because you're amongst like the best of the best, man, like, and to be honest, like, it's a fucking honor to kind of like be able to say that I do that. And that's kind of how I make most of my bread now, is like hitting the conventions. We just like kind of on tour, man, just like hitting different cities every weekend, and fucking spreading the name, spreading the art, sometimes spreading the seed.
How has coronavirus affected those type of shows though?
Dramatically, man. To be honest, before coronavirus, the shows were amazing.
Right.
Like in a weekend, you could easily pull 6-7 racks, and now, you know, it's like 2-3 racks, 4 racks, depending on how you play your cards. You know, like.
Right.
But you know, it's still good, but like it's still a noticeable hit. You know what I mean? Like attendance wise, and like what people are willing to pay wise. But I mean, like on the road, the price is usually $250 to $300 an hour. And you know, so usually, like, if I'm not doing a piece by hour, I'll do them by my day rate, which is usually $1,500. So $1,500 for the day rate, and then like $800 for the half day.
Right.
But I get a fuck ton done, man. I work quick and clean, and you know, so I work efficiently. I work fast. Right. So a lot of times, like, people get a lot more than they should for what they pay, you know, but it's just because I work quick.
Gotcha.
But
you said you actually tattoo yourself too. Tell me about that.
Well, when I was learning, when I was going through my apprenticeship, I was learning techniques and learning strategies and learning things, and I wanted to put them into play, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that on someone else, because I didn't want to fuck anybody up. And so I chose to just attack my legs. And so on my legs, I've tattooed them easily over 30 times. Just like doing a piece and then letting it heal and then fixing it and then looking at it and realizing that, like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and then having to go and do it again. And so all of the trial and error that comes with learning tattooing was done on myself. And so I felt it was the only honest way to approach it, being that I was going to be doing this sacred tradition on other people. If I'm doing so, I want to know what the fuck I'm doing on them. And so until I knew how to do what the fuck I was supposed to do, is when I started tattooing people other than myself.
Yeah.
So there were many times where I was walking funny for a few days because I fucked my leg up, you know, like. But you live and you learn, you know, like. That would have been somebody else if it wasn't me, you know what I mean? So,
how long was it before you felt comfortable enough to tattoo somebody?
Honestly, after working with a machine, like maybe 6 months, and that's probably longer than some might. But I take everything I do fucking serious, man. Like, not in like a way that's like I'm an asshole about it, but like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna fucking do it. Like, I'm not gonna like half-ass that shit. I'm gonna like invest my whole life in that shit, you know, because then you're not gonna know. Like, if you're just half-assing it, like, what are you doing? Like, you're wasting your fucking time. And so if I'm doing something, it's gonna be 150% and 200%, you know, and that's just the fucking way it is, man. That's the way it's just
like that. Wow.
That should be life, you know. That should be approach to life. But
so you're mainly traveling right now. You're mainly traveling.
Yeah, mainly traveling. Like, I do appointments back home here a few days a week. A lot of times it ends up being Monday and Tuesday because I have kids too. So like, I see them while I'm in town, and so I'll do tattoo Monday and Tuesday, be with my kids Wednesday and Thursday, and then get back on the road Friday.
Man,
just repeat that shit. Yeah.
As a young, as a young entrepreneur,
Yeah.
such as yourself, how hard is it to keep up with your family and keep up with business at the same time?
I'll be honest, like, it's probably my job and coronavirus to contribute to my divorce, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And so, like, but that doesn't mean you sit around and cry about shit. That just means,
Right.
all right, you gotta work harder now. So, you just fucking gotta get on it, man. So, to be honest, it's very difficult, man. You know, like, it puts a lot of strain on the kids and the family, and that's why, like, I grew up kind of like, not really having guidance from my folks around, and so it was really just like me looking out for myself. And so, being like a smaller dude, if you will, and having to move around a lot because I was always like fighting and getting kicked out of schools, like it was a little tricky, But it made me into a much more much smoother walker and talker. You know what I mean? Like it just fucking really shaped me to be who I am, to where like I can walk with this confidence and with no fear, because motherfuckers bleed the same as me. You know what I mean? So like, but also I'm not on that same type of wavelength I used to be, where if someone upsets me, I want to throw a punch. Like if someone upsets me, then perhaps like we can talk about that shit. Like we don't have to like resort to old ways, man, because we don't grow that way. I have kids I need to worry about. I have a job and a business that I'm trying to grow. If you keep doing that, like you're gonna get locked up, and then like what cycle? What's the point of keeping up that cycle, man?
Yeah, no, there's no point in keeping that up. Basically, learn how to control your emotions. Is there something in your life that happened that made you have to control those type of impulses?
Yeah, man, there was a time where I should have been probably locked up for about 20 years. That was what I was looking at, about 20 years, and it really puts you into perspective, like looking at every day is like, well, fuck, this is the last time I'm gonna see my kids for a long fucking time. And having that constant reality check, thinking every day was gonna be my last free day, really taught me how to enjoy every step I take. You know what I mean? Like, because it's real easy to take life for granted, man. Like, you got a bunch of fucking money coming in. You got like, there's all these things happening. Like, you can get lost in that. But once you get lost in that, it's hard to fucking find your way back, man. And so, I don't know. I just try to keep my head on right these days, But
how did you become close to your grandmama?
well, because to be honest, she was the only one who would really like fuck with me. Because my mom was taking my dad to court and shit, and so that kind of turned into like him and my brothers and sister like stopping to talk to me, like by whoever's decision that was. And so I had just found out I had like 2 brothers and a sister in Puerto Rico, and a bunch of aunts and cousins and fucking like great grandma and shit. So it was pretty dope. So she would just like always send me flags. Like she sent me the flags. She sent me like T-shirts and music from the island and shit.
Kept it with you. Hey.
It's black as fuck.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
That's dope.
Hey, what do you think about people using them numbing agents? Did you use that on me?
Nah.
No?
I just have a light hand because I tattooed myself, so I learned how to like not do more abuse than I need to,
Right.
So it's just like almost like crocheting.
I was like crocheting. Hey.
So if you're still down for that white, like I can drop that in there soon.
Yeah, let's do that.
Live as fuck.
That shit looks fire, dude.
Thanks, man. I tried really hard. Promise.
He's a problem. Yeah, I fuck with it.
For real. You look all happy. Look at his face lit up. He's like, I fuck with it.
Yeah, shit, I wish we had more time, man.
Well, shit, I'm gonna be pulling up to the shop afterwards. Like, after this, I'm gonna be pulling up to the shop. So, shit, if y'all wanted to, I'm probably gonna be there pretty late. We're gonna be painting the shop, but if you wanted to get some more shit done, we got the printers there. We got all kinds of shit, everything we need. We just made more space too. Let's see. All right, these will be the finishing touches right here.
Get my name tatted on you so I know it's real.
Yo.
Get my fucking name tatted on you so I know it's real. That's what's up.
What's
So,
up? Yeah, go ahead.
do you know how many tattoos you've done?
I've done.
Have you kept count?
I started to at first just because I thought it would be fun, but then I realized it was just dumb because it's gonna just keep happening. So over 1,000 for sure.
1,000. You keep it 1,000.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Hopefully, trying to make it more than 1 million.
Like, for real. Is it like an honor to have that many people under your belt?
Man, like, to be honest, it's an honor to have like one under my belt. Just the fact that someone's willing to let me do this to them, have that trust that I'm not bullshitting you the whole time, you know, like I've done this and that, like, you know. So
Said I was second guessing it. I was like,
Have you ever worked alongside somebody that you just felt like, damn, they just treating their customers like shit?
yeah, and to be honest, like that's kind of what pushes me to treat people how I treat people, man. It's like the olden times you had to deal with that because there was not many tattoo artists. Like in a city, there might be like 5 in the whole city back in the day, if even that many. You know, usually there's like 1 or 2, and so you kind of just had to, like, if you wanted to get tattooed, that was what it was. You know, like it has a very rough beginning. And sometimes, like, some people have a problem with that changing. And some of it, like, I feel it's kind of, like, romantic in a way, like, how fucking rough it was. Like, for instance, Sailor Jerry, who would be considered the godfather, like, there would be, like, if someone else would come and try to buy ink from him, like, this is not talking shit, this is telling history.
Yeah,
like,
right.
he would fucking, he would sell them. Like he would put, it would be half ink and half piss. He would piss in the other half of the bottle and fucking sell it to them. Like just because it was like that, it was some fucking real ass times. Like you're my competition, nigga. You think I'm gonna send you some fucking ink? Out of here. So yeah.
How did they find out that he was pissing in the ink?
Well, they did. But he would get a bunch of people go to him to fix these infected ass tattoos, you know. And so, genius.
Damn. Have you ever had to fix someone's infected tattoo?
Hell yeah. I've seen some fucked up work, and I like fixing fucked up work because it's like it looks ugly as fuck, and I'm gonna make it look badass, and so I'm gonna change their life.
Save you.
It's like just give me your life right quick. I'm gonna fix it. But yeah, I started in a shop. The first shop I ever worked at was in a bazaar, and the guy actually had 2 shops. One. It was like a shop, and then it was inside the bazaar. Not Harry Hines, what do you call it? The Bargain City Bazaar on fucking Forward Avenue and Westmoreland in Oak Cliff. The heart of fucking Oak Cliff, man. That shit. Everybody I tattooed was like either like fresh out of prison, going to prison, freshly deported, or gonna be deported. Like it was the body, you know. Like it was fucking dope, to be honest. Like. Just crazy ass stories, man. Like non-stop craziness, like no end to it. Just stuff that even makes you kind of feel sad. Like I'm gonna quit. I can't do this. Like, there was this one time, man. I was tattooing this guy, and he came in like fucked up, and he was fucked up, and he wanted this name, his baby mama's name, blasted over. He wanted to cover it up with the Versace, like, Medusa, you know, like, and so I was like, alright, but he wanted the snakes to come all down his arm and shit, and I was like, man, he's like, I don't give a fuck about the price, I got money, and so I dropped him the price, and then his fucking, like, knees got a little weak, you know, but, just the big money, you know, but, whatever, I ended up going down on the price a little bit, got him in, and he was like, it was already like midnight, 1 o'clock, and he's like, is it cool if my daughter comes in? And I was like, well, it's probably better that she comes in than she's outside, nigga. Like, so she came in and sat in the lobby. She was like probably like 11 years old, right? And then she ends up coming to sit over there by us.
What in the morning?
It was like 1 in the morning, yeah. And then like he goes to the restroom right after she comes in and starts hitting bumps, but like loud as fuck. Like he was like making sure everybody heard him hitting these bumps, like, and he hit like a good couple of bumps, you know, like to be ready to hype himself up for this tat, you know.
I wasn't counting, but I was counting.
It was like at least 8, and I was just saying.
Damn, he was
he was geeking, man, like, and
looking like a typewriter.
man. And so we start tattooing him, and he keeps getting up to like rap the lyrics. So I'm like tattooing his neck, and then I have to pull back, and he's like, "Oh, motherfucker, blah blah," and then he sits back down, and I'm tattooing him some more, and like, and then yeah, his neck. And each time he did that, I would fuck up, and I had to be like fixing it. Like I had to tell him like, "Yo, just stop moving, you motherfucker! Like you're fucking it up every time you get up." And then he brought his daughter over, and he was like, "Give me another one." And I was like, "I know he's not about to." And sure enough, she pulls out another fucking little baggie out of her pocket, and he's like, "Give me your finger." And he puts it in her pinky and fucking hits it right there, like. And I was like, "Man,
damn, that's crazy."
And I was like, "That's." But the thing is, like, in his eyes, he's being like a good dad, and the way he grew up, the fucking environment that he was in, his daughter was there with him. He was taking care of her. He was looking after her. You know what I mean?
Right,
so like
right.
in the fucked up way of looking at it, he was like he was taking care of his little girl. You know what I mean?
Right.
But and so it's just really it's the dynamic, man. You know, sometimes like most people be like, "What a fucking terrible father," but he's over here like she's dressed in the fucking nice clothes and like Jordans and shit. He's bragging about it because he's like he takes care of his kids. You know what I mean?
Right,
so it's
right.
like,
He does what he gotta do.
So that's you know. And then he wanted to give me a tip at the end of the session, and so he was going to tip me some bud because obviously he sold weed, right? And so I go out. And so I go outside, and he gets out of the passenger side, which obviously means his daughter's driving, you know. So I'm like, it's probably better off that way anyway.
Yeah, I thought you said she was like 10.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was. Hey, Mexican parents be teaching their kids to like, I don't know if he's Mexican or not, but teaching them to drive so early.
Yeah, I'm slacking.
Like I
gotta
remember my dad used to like be like, "Here, hit the pedal, da da da." Like I'd be like, "Okay."
The first time I ever drove a car, I was 5, and I almost crashed that bitch.
God damn, I mean, shit, you only 5.
Hey, but I didn't crash.
How did that happen?
I didn't have much supervision. Cosas de la vida. Tú sabes.
That's a song.
Were you raised mostly in Texas?
Mostly, yeah. Like, I moved around a lot, like I said. So, like, my grandparents had a house in Oak Cliff. So they ended up kind of taking me in a lot of times because I was always, like, moving around a lot. By the time I got to high school, I went to about 30 different schools. Just fucking always bouncing around and couch surfing. Whoever would kind of take me in. But so, like, it would be San Antonio, South Texas, like the Valley, like Mission, Far, Edinburgh, and then, or like fucking, or Dallas, you know, San Antonio or Dallas or South Texas. It's kind of where I usually bounced around.
Nah, in most industries, there's always, it's either competition or hate amongst the competition.
Yup.
How is it in the tattoo industry?
It's fucking dog eat dog, man. Like, there's fucking mad haters. Like, it's pretty interesting. Like, I figured it would be, but I didn't think it would be like that. Like, the first shop I was in, I told you it was already kind of rough. Like, but one of the dudes would he would swoop in on, like, so I would tell somebody a price, and he would come in and swoop in and tell them a lower price and shit like that, you know, just like, just on some hating shit, you know, like,
From the same shop.
From the same shop, you know, like, and he's supposedly my boy, looking after me and shit, you know, so.
Yeah, we're on the same team.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't fuck with that. And so, I kind of like, I was working at another shop, and there was some more shit, you know, that went down, and so, like, I surround myself with the vibe I fucking want in my life, and if it's family, if it's homies, if I don't give a fuck who it is, if I gotta cut them out of my life because you're fucking with my life or my energy or my money, then
they gotta go.
You chose that shit, not me, nigga, you know, like, so I'm not afraid to cut anybody out, man. Like, I don't give a fuck, like, I'll cut my mom out, you know, like, cause it's like, you know, gotta do what you gotta do, man. Like, not on some fucking evil shit, but on some just real life shit. Like, hey, if you're gonna fuck my life up, like,
I need my.
I'm not saying she is, but I'm just saying, like, as an example, like, whoever it is, gotta do what you gotta do. If you got fucking goals and shit to do, man, then what are you gonna let those obstacles control your progress?
Right.
Fuck that.
We definitely needed you to come in today.
Man.
Thank you for being here as well.
Fucking honored.
Blessing Pyro's live,
Yo.
Raseto's live.
You know?
You know the vibe.
Giving him that level up. Oh, yeah.
He's taking it like a champ.
Yo. He only flinched like twice. Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, he didn't flinch yet. At least not that I noticed.
Nah,
He's like, nah, it's the wind.
It's what?
It's the wind.
and nah,
Are they both there?
that was good. That was good. But nah, see, at one point I had to look. I was like, damn, is he tattooing me?
Got enough
Yeah.
good material.
The bitch my bitch really falling asleep now.
Hell yeah. Yup. Yeah, the
I feel
position.
that it just feel tingling.
Yup. Just banging that white in there, man. It's looking fucking dope. Like, it's looking sick.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to get the feeling soon.
Oh, yeah. I still gotta hit the top part, but just so you can see what you're working with right there. Check it. See what I mean? Just boom, gives it like another little pop. Now we just gotta hit the line and the X, and you're good.
You say you at a shop right now?
It's not my shop. I'm at a shop though in Oak Cliff. It's called Majestic Tattoo.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now it's 3 artists and 2 apprentices.
Okay.
And we just
So do the apprentice get the tattoo too?
One of them did a tattoo. The other one hasn't tattooed yet, but he's getting there. But yeah, like honestly, the tradition goes usually you don't touch a machine for a while, man. And I try to follow some traditions. I think that that's one that's important because you can get cocky real quick, man. Like, and that's one thing you see that happens a lot in this industry is ego. And it's in any industry, but it's real easy to get cocky because motherfuckers are praising you, telling you you're this and you're that. Like, and so if you don't get a hold of that, it's gonna get a hold of you. And that's with life in general. And so like I like to make sure that they fucking stay humble. Like, not saying I'm like dumping buckets of water on them or anything, you know. But I'm gonna be like, look, man, like there's a fucking ladder to this, you know. Like I respect the ladder. Like to my elders, like I got mad respect. Like even though we're probably making the same amount of money, like they fucking got like years on me, and like that doesn't come with nothing. That comes with hard work, and I fucking know that, and I respect that. And so if somebody's my elder, like they're gonna have my respect, and I'm gonna fucking I'll fucking open the door for them to get. I mean, I'm not gonna let them disrespect me. That's different, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause I had a situation too on the road where there was an elder who felt like he could be disrespectful, and I checked that shit real quick, and it became almost a big fucking problem. But we resolved it, and now he's cool. He's the homie, you know, because he saw too I wasn't a bitch, and I wasn't just gonna let him push me around. But it's unfortunate those situations have to happen, but you just have to know like how to deal with them without being afraid, you know.
What's the process of going from an intern to being a full-blown artist?
Well, usually it would have to do with getting the blessing from your mentor, because that's ultimately who's going to decide whether you're ready or not. Like you can decide whether you're ready or not, but that doesn't mean you're fucking right, you know. So, like I said, I came from an art background already, and so like having already some art training, I fucking thought it was going to be easy, and it was going to be quick. But I was humbled real fast, man. Like, because no matter who the fuck you are, you still gotta go through the run. You gotta go through the process, man. Like, and so it was very humbling to have to relearn how to draw, basically. You know what I mean? Like, I knew how to draw, I knew how to fucking paint, but running a tattoo machine is like learning a new tool.
Right. Definitely new brush, new tool.
Yeah. And so it was a challenge, man. At first, I'm not gonna lie. Very discouraging.
There was times where you felt like you needed to quit.
Yeah, a lot of times, man. There was a couple of times having to do with like not realizing that I was letting other people fucking like discourage me. You know, like Because there's gonna be a lot of obstacles in anything in life, man. But how bad you fucking want it is gonna see. That's gonna be everything right there.
Right.
Because if you think you fucking want something, and the first sign of like discouragement, you give up. You're a bitch. There's more work to be done, man. You're gonna give up at the first difficulty, nah, nigga. That's the first test.
This ain't for the weak.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, nah, man. That's why I like. When I first started trying to learn how to tattoo, like I was working 2 jobs, man, and so I would get out of my second job at midnight and just chug a monster and tattoo my leg all night, because I knew that like if I didn't put in those like uncomfortable, odd hours of work, that it wasn't gonna happen, because I had no other time to do it. And so I had no choice but to just fucking force myself to tattoo myself for hours to learn or watch documentaries, study. Because if I didn't do it, if I didn't force myself to do it, then it was just never gonna fucking happen.
What's the strangest body part you tattooed?
Can we talk about that?
I
tattoo some pussy lips.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How was that?
Weird. Moist.
Was it really?
Like it was like slippery.
Oh,
Like,
Quite slippery, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Were they like shaking and shit?
Yeah. It was a whole thing. That's one like
You said I can't go.
Like it took a moment. Yeah.
we had to take some breaks.
Look at that. That's crazy though. What'd they get? Someone's name.
Nah, butterfly.
Ah, fucking dead. Ah, the butterfly. That's crazy.
What's the second most?
I know.
What's the second most?
I mean, I tattoo butt cheeks all the time, man. Like that's like not really weird, but it can be weird for some people. Like it's caused trouble.
It depends where on the booty cheek is at,
it's caused trouble in relationships though, like because of the nature of the work. Like I've had to like
death threats.
no, like I've had to get out of relationships that I've been in because of like them not being able to handle me having like like me being in between some
because to
cheeks.
you this is business, and you taking care of business.
Yeah, man, this is what I gotta do. And sometimes it's really just hard for people to handle. And I get it. Like, I get it. I'm not saying, like, just fucking deal with it, but that's what it is. Like, I can't change it.
Right.
And so, if you're not cool with that, then that means, like, don't fucking talk to me.
Right. We just ain't gonna be able to do this.
Yeah. So, it's alright. Like, it's interesting like that, man. Like, but chilling. So
Tell me about your little babies. How many babies do you have?
oh man, you're gonna go there.
Well, no. You know what question? I was gonna lead up to a question, but I just want to ask you the question.
Yeah.
What age are you gonna let your kids get tattooed?
Get tattooed?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't matter when I let them, they're gonna do it. Like I got tattooed underage, like in shops, lying about my age and shit. Like but so I mean, I'm gonna tell them to wait till they're 18, but I know that's not gonna happen. I mean, I said I know that's not gonna happen, but
what if one of them is like, "Daddy, I want to get tattooed," and they're 15?
I mean,
Like,
if they're gonna do it anyway, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like if they're gonna do it anyway, then I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Hey, but are they allowed to do that? Like, if,
Nah.
no, right? Like, if they come to school with a tattoo, are they gonna put your ass in jail?
It might be some situations. They just gotta not fucking snitch. Like I taught y'all not to snitch. Nigga, if you snitching, like what the fuck? Like,
Say some random ass friends did it. Don't
like that looks too good. Like.
Yeah, I get that.
So I mean, it's tricky, man. Like I said, like I can't, like the first time I got tattooed was in Puerto Rico, like, and I got live hard, skate harder, because I mean, like, grew up rough, but I also grew up skating all the time, and skateboarding was always like my first love, like my motivation. So no matter what happened in life, I knew I was always gonna have my board, and so I would live hard, like, but I would skate harder. And so that was like kind of like my motto at the time.
How old were you?
17.
That was in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Did you live in Puerto Rico for a little bit?
No, I mean, I've stayed there on like periods of time, like lived there periods of time, but I wouldn't say that like it's been like my home, like
yeah. You long to be there?
There was a point where I was gonna move there, man. Like I was already like looking to buy a car out there. Like I was setting up everything, but I mean, luckily it didn't happen because it also has a little bit to do with like that time I told you that was like kind of looming over my head at one point. Right. But
yeah, and they recently got hit bad by that hurricane.
Yeah, Hurricane Maria really fucked things up, man. Like it really fucked things up.
You have family over there? They got.
Yeah, like my dad lives there. My sister at the point was living there. I got a brother that lives there, and then my grandparents live there. So it's still a good chunk of the family out there. But yeah, man. So they got pretty fucked up. Like one of my brothers had just moved out. He got out of the army, and he just moved down there and bought some land, and they had a house and like a guest house. All this shit was destroyed. We just lost it. He lived there like maybe like a month before it got destroyed. And so he ended up moving away, and then my sister.
So fire.
Yeah. You see that white what it does though? Yeah. Just gives it like
Let me take a picture of it, bro. That looks so fire.
Almost like it's glowing and shit.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty, guys, we are once again live from Harry Hines with none other than P.Rata. Right now, we are going to be doing the segment called 3 Truths or 3 Shots. Are you ready?
I guess.
Alrighty, this segment, the audience is going to be asking us some questions. If we can get the first question with the beautiful young lady in the orange dress.
Thank you. Okay, so the first question is, what friend has a tattoo that they should never have gotten, and what is it?
I can't do that like that.
Okay, I'll go. Okay,
All right,
so
that's a shot. That's a shot.
Oh, yeah. So goddamn. So I had a homegirl who got something tatted right here, and they'd actually misspelled it.
Ooh.
So then she had to go back and cover it up with the rose. But there we go. She shouldn't have gotten that, and it was like the misspelling. I don't remember what it was, but I remember that after she was like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
No, that sucks.
Do you check spelling on people?
I check like 100 times, like before I do it, because that's been something that I've seen happen to a lot of dudes.
It never happened to you?
It's never happened once. Let me
knock on wood. Pray to baby Jesus. Pray to baby Jesus. You don't fuck up on me or something.
He said, let me check.
Alrighty. What is the second question from the audience? The gentleman with the gray sweatshirt, the gray sweater.
All right. So, if you had to choose an ex, one of your exes, name, which one would you get tatted?
I got one tattooed, and I'm not gonna shout her out by saying her name. But I covered it up. I covered it up eventually with a Black Panther head with 3 eyes.
Did you cover it with the Black Panther for some specific reason?
No, just because it was big and black.
It would cover it the fuck up. I'm trying to think because I don't want to take this shot. Who?
If you had to choose a next, which one would you
I gotta
take?
give a name.
Yeah. You have to give me the name.
Instagram handle and
shot. All right.
Next question.
Next question is, when was the last time you told a lie and what was it?
Ooh, Go for it.
Shot.
Damn. Okay, let me try to think. Was it a white lie?
It could be any lie.
It could be any lie.
It gotta be a big lie.
It gotta be a big lie.
Gotta be a good lie.
Pull me up. Pull me up. Oh, no, fuck, no. What is that?
Want that one,
Nah. What is that? All right, I'm going to take that. It looks a little lighter. Look like I might black out. Mixing these. All right, well, cheers to that.
Cheers to.
May they never know our little lives. Fuck you for pouring me that. Fuck you. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, P.Rata. We are so happy to have you here. We're going to include your Instagram and all your out where to find you right here. If you guys want to hit up the best local artist,
Man.
tattoo artist, Good Vibes Only from Dallas, Texas.
Oak Cliff.